let's start have the ham in the measure that I was born, and raised in Liberia, West Africa. And growing up, for most of you who came from over there, your parents don't have the opportunity, they don't have the financial means. There's no way you can go to school. So I'm gonna make it very brief. So when I was in Liberia, I stopped in the 2nd grade. But when I came to the United States, they put me in the 8th grade because of my age. And I remember when I first got here, I went to Pueblo do Sul Middle School, and then later on, I went to Maryville High School with my brother Christian, who's right here. Yeah, Christian, put your hands up. Yeah, Christian, I went to thank you, brother. Christian, I went to the same high school and was supposed to graduate in May of 2011. That was the year I was supposed to graduate. And when I was at Maryville, obviously, everybody knew me. And when the school heard that Prince, Prince is like the president. Woo! Prince is not graduating. So imagine like the week before graduation, I received a call from my guidance counselor. So he was a Prince come to my office, and I was so excited. I was smiling. I was like, oh, I'm about to graduate. I already got my coming down. But then when I came through, and he was crying, Mr. Rivera. And I was like, what is going on, man? This is graduation. You're supposed to be so excited, right? And he said, I'm sorry. You're not going to graduate because you didn't pass the Ames. And at the time, the Ames were adopted in 2006. It was administered by the state legislature, so you have to take the test to graduate from high school. Some of you guys who went to high school in Liberia, you guys call it the YA, the exam that you have to take. So in the state of Arizona, we have to take that test. And you take the test your sophomore year, your 10th grade year. So if you pass it the first time, then you don't have to pass it until you graduate from high school. So my sophomore year, I took it twice. I didn't pass it. My junior year, I took it twice. I only passed the reading, and I couldn't pass the writing and the math. So my senior year, I took it twice. I couldn't pass it. So I took it like 6 times. Right. So, and then when I went to my counselor, so I'm like, since I'm not graduating, so what can I do? He said, I want you to come back as a 2nd year senior. And I'm like, I don't want to come back as a 2nd year senior because people are going to make fun of me. I'm like, everybody knew, everybody know me, and that person's not graduating, they're going to feel so embarrassed. And he told me, he said, you have to come back. I said, no, Mr. Rivera, I cannot come back. People are going to laugh at me. He said, you want to be the next United States Senator. You want to be a lawyer. I said, yes, of course I want to be a lawyer. He said, you have to come back. I said, man, I can't come back. So at that time, I used to talk to one girl in high school to call her Ashley. Christian. So my counselor used to talk to Ashley. So Mr. Rivera called, he told Ashley, he said, come to my office. So when Ashley went to his office, and then he started talking to Ashley. So, and then Ashley told me, she was like, okay, you know what, you have to go back. So I'm like, okay, fine. She said, do you still like me? I was like, yes, I like you. She said, okay, then you have to go back. So I was like, fine, okay. So, and I went to summer school, and the first day when I went on campus, people were laughing at me. The kids were being so mean to me. They started throwing stuff at me, you know what I mean? They were mocking me. I felt so embarrassed. And I worked hard to pass the Ames. And people used to make fun of me. They used to mock me. They said, oh, I was stupid, I was this and that. But what they don't understand is because I missed a lot of years of curriculum. Yes. I missed the foundation. And it was kind of like a rocket science, but they didn't understand that. So they used to laugh. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I came back in 2011. I came back. So I was there for another year. I repeated my 12th degree year for the 2nd time. Even though I have all my credit, but I went for another year. And then I didn't pass the Ames again. So I was so disappointed. I even went to Texas because people was making fun of me. So I came back for Texas. And I was so embarrassed. So I told my friend, my brother Christian, and he always been encouraging me. He said, Prezzo, I believe in your dream. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. Don't give up. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. Just keep going. I'm like, but people keep making fun of me and say it does not matter. And he's always been very instrumental. And there's some teachers who used to laugh at me. They said, oh, I'm wasting my time. I would not be the next United States Senator, or I cannot be a lawyer because I can't pass the Ames. So I'm like, you know what? I love to prove people wrong. That's the good thing about me. If you tell me I can't do stuff, if you tell me I can't do stuff, it gives me the inspiration and the motivation to keep going. So I say it doesn't matter. Someone like, just go get a GED, because you can pass it. You're about to 1021. Just go get a GED. I said, no, it don't matter. So what I did, I went to a charter school. It used to be called South Diamondback Education Academy, but it is Lenard Bro. So I went there. I went there for a semester, and I used to study with Mr. O. Like, the first day Mr. O saw me in class, I used to go to Mr. O every time in the morning. This dude would come early to school just to tutor me. He would leave his house. He would leave his house early in the morning to tutor me. And then after school, he's going to stay for extra time to tutor me. And then on Saturday, he would come and tutor me. So he kept encouraging me. He said, Prince, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. So I was thinking it was my last chance to take the Ames because they said by the time I turned 21, they had to kick me out of the school. Because, you feel me? It's like, imagine, it's like you're on a trial. You don't know what the prosecutor, you don't know what's going to happen, the defense counsel, you don't know what the judge is going to say. So it's just hard. You don't know what's going to happen. So it was my last trial. Because they said once you turn 21, you leave it. Because at that time, the school don't receive money. They have to want funding. Because every child I go to school, they receive money for that. So the school said once I turn 21, they have to keep me out. So I kept, I was crying. I said, well, God, this is my last chance. I want to go to law school, but the Ames math is, it kept holding me. So I'm like, I have to do this. So, I used to wake up at 12 midnight. I used to study for like 3 to 4 hours. I used to study. I used to go on YouTube, try to do some other stuff. I keep studying. My friend Chris used to always tell me, Prince, I go to the library. I used to go with him and study to help me. So he kept motivating me. And the day of the Ames, when the Ames came in, oh Lord, oh God bless America. When the Ames came through, all the teachers were just waiting. Mr. O told me, he said, you know what? It doesn't matter, just stay. If you're gonna stay longer, just stay longer. It doesn't matter. Like, I will make sure you pass these Ames before I leave. So don't give up. If I have to stay longer hours until you finish the test, just stay. So I was taking the Ames from in the morning until 7 p.m. until that, because it was my last trial. You feel me? It's like going on a trial. It was my last trial. So when the Ames came through, the principal called me. He said, Prince, come to my office. I was like, just tell me, I already feel the Ames. I keep feeling this. I feel it 8 times. So what else do you guys want to tell me? Just tell me, I already know I keep feeling it. Yeah, just tell me. They said, so the person would come to my office. I said, nah, I can't come to your office. I already know what's up. I feel the Ames. So he sent one of his assistants to come and pick me up. So when she came to the classroom, she took me to the principal's office. And then the principal was like, do you want to know the bad news or you want to know the good news? I'm like, I want to know the good. I said, just tell me, I felt it. I already know I felt it. And then when he looked out, he said, congratulations, you almost exceeded Ames. I'm like, God bless America. Like, I fell on the floor. I was crying. I'm like, I cannot believe. After taking this test 9 times, it was holding my dream of going to law school. I cannot believe. I started crying. I fell on the floor. When I received my high school diploma, he said, okay, what's he going to do next? I went to GCC to do track with my friend Christian because he ran track, one of the best in the state of Arizona. So I said, let me follow him to go to track and field. But then when I took a political science class, I had a professor. Every time she have a question, I always have the answer to it. When she says something, I love to disagree with her. I want to challenge her. So, and then one day after class, she was like, come to my office. And when I went to her office, she said, I want you to be my honors program. I'm like, you said what, honors program? I'm not even that smart. I barely graduated high school, man. With a 2.1 GPA, and I was a 30 years old. What make you think I can be in the honors program? She said, no, after your first semester, just work hard. If you get a good grade, and you can apply to the honors program. I'm like, okay, I guess you see potential in me, right? So I listened. One good thing, I listened. So when I did go my first semester, when I got into the honors program, it opened the doors of opportunity for me. It taught me the value of hard work, determination. And in 2015, there was a summer program. They call it the Funds for American Study. Every school a professor have to nominate a student. So, and I remember my political science professor nominated me to go to DC. I was in DC for 8 weeks. I was working in the United States House of Representatives. I was interning on Capitol Hill. And at the same time, I was taking classes at George Mason University. And when I went to DC, things have changed. The kids I met in class, they inspired me, they challenged me to work hard. The first day when I walked in class, I was so afraid, this kid, because they were using a lot of vernacular terms, very sophisticated words. I'm like, oh, damn, I'm not smart to be here. I was afraid. And then so what I did, I called my professor, I called my mentor, Professor Tigo. I was like, Professor Tigo, you have to pay for my flight. I want to leave DC right now. Those kids are so smart. He said, man, you are a future president, so just stay in there. So, and I was taking 2 classes at that time. I was taking economic, public policy. I know nothing about economics. The last economic class I took, that was high school. But I was in class with kids from like Harvard, Yale, Stanford. I was afraid. But after this, when I was in that class for a couple of days, what I noticed, those kids were not smarter than me. The only thing was opportunity. They had so much opportunity. So after I left that program, leaving DC and working on Capitol Hill in the U.S. House of Representatives, I was so inspired. As a congressional intern, I go to a lot of congressional hearings. I have to draft memos. and I have to research legislation for the congressman and the staff. Whatever bills coming before committee, I have to track it down. So, and I read letters. Letters I was writing to the congressman. And when I read those letters, it inspired me from people. And so when I came back, I think about education at GCC. Later on, I got into Liberia, and I was able to graduate. I graduated top of my class with a 3.9 GPA. Yeah. So the reason I'm here today is to inspire each and every one of you that in life, I know it's not going to be easy. People are going to criticize you. They're going to say you're not smart enough. They're going to tell you, oh, your dream is too big. Or you cannot do it because of your challenges. But never give up. Amen. If I listen to those people, if I listen to those people 8 years ago who said I was not going to be anything in life, how can you have the opportunity to invite the people over here to come to school? Yeah. So if there's anything that you're going to take from here, never look at your background as an obstacle for succeeding. Work hard, believe in yourself, put God first. And when people tell you that you cannot do something, just prove them. Amen. Because education is very important. Because of education, I can make any phone calls I want to make. It's just a reality. You know what I mean? Because when you are educated, the respect is given. If it was not because of the education, I was not going to have dignitary over here, but because of the importance of education. So to all my young folks and to all, our mom, our dad, if you want to go back to school, it's never too late. There's so much opportunity out there. Believe in yourself, fulfill your dream, and always give glory to God. Never let anyone stop you. Yeah, as I said, yes, my next step, I'm going to be going to Harvard. I'm looking at Harvard, Yale, to get my master's degree in public administration. People ask me, can you get into Harvard Law School? I'm like, there's nothing I cannot do. You know what I mean? There's nothing I cannot do. And you guys are the reason I'm here today. You are the reason that inspired me. When I read those textbooks at ASU in Liberia Honors College, when I debate, intellectually, politically, I think about people like you guys. You guys are the reason I've always been working hard. You guys are the reason. You guys give me hope and inspiration. Or when I go to the courtroom, when I go represent Liberians and stuff, I mean, I see, so many of our young people, being incarcerated because sometimes they don't understand that constitutional right. There's no due process. Sometimes you go to court, the prosecutor won't give you plea deal. Sometimes they don't even understand the implication of the plea deal. So, if there's anything you're gonna take from here tonight, is to be, is believe in yourself. Whatever profession, whether it's music, whether it's academic, always tell yourself that you can do it. You can do it, never give up. Because if you give up, you don't just give up on yourself. You give up on your family, and you give up on people who believe in you. Amen. And you are the reason I'm here today. And there's people in your life who say, oh, you're not smart enough. Oh, you cannot do it. If I listen to that, who knows I was going to be here today? I just didn't just graduate from ASU, but I graduated top of my class with a 3.9, and I completed additional 15 credit in political science. So that's the reason I'm here. And if you guys want to take some questions, if you guys want to ask me some questions, I want for this event to be more about dialogue, conversation, and not just about that.